morning, but again, we'll turn more easterly and bring in that moisture, and so we're expecting the clouds to begin to increase. Still tracking now tropical depression Ada, but it is forecast to move back out to sea and become a tropical storm as it moves up toward Cuba and then eventually up toward South Florida. Could be moving into the Gulf as well. That won't happen until this weekend, so we're keeping a close eye on it. Right now, those winds at 30 miles per hour, moving to the west-northwest at 8 miles per hour. So it's a very slow mover, but eventually will curve right back out here to the Caribbean Sea and then make its way up toward the United States. So not giving up just yet. Here is our forecast track model. You can follow along with the time right there at the top of the screen. It shows how the clouds begin to increase once we get toward the afternoon. I'm thinking after 1 or 2 o'clock is when you'll start to see some high, thin clouds move in, and some thicker clouds will move in through the overnight. We'll wind up Friday morning with partly sunny skies, and we'll stay there through the rest of the afternoon. Even more clouds coming in on Saturday. Notice the lack of green, no rain here. So even on Saturday, we'll call it a mix of sun and clouds. Won't see the chance for rain until we get to Sunday, but that's a very low chance for that rain to be around. We'll give it a 20% chance on Sunday, and we'll continue that into Monday as well with mostly cloudy skies. The chance for rain will increase as we head toward Tuesday and into Wednesday, and then we have to take an account for what could be Ada, as far as what Ada will do to our forecast. Right now, we're watching it very closely, but we'll give it a very low chance for the rain as we start the work week next week. All right, Crash Clark joining me here on the show. Good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning, my friend. I got to apologize right off the bat. We are having problems with my earpiece, so I can't hear you other than what I hear from the other side of the room there. So it's a little tough for me to get everything going.
Good morning, Crash Clark.
Hello there, Chesley McNeil.
Glad you're back in the studio, my friend. You ready for the word of the day?
Let's do it.
All right, folks, it's the word of the day. Word of the day. Yeah, word of the day. This one, I've never heard this word before, but we'll give it a shot. All right, preferred. Preferred is the word of the day. Yeah, preferred. Never heard of it, but here's the definition here. It means very fervent or extremely ardent or impassioned. Yeah, enthusiastic, I guess is what you would say. Want to give it a shot?
Perfervid. Okay. You know what? Let's just keep it political right now, because we know both candidates have given very perfervid victory speeches, despite the fact that we're still counting ballots.
Counting ballots. How long will we be doing that? Yes, indeed. Very good use of the word. Folks, we want you to do the same thing, just like Crash Clark. But we need you to record yourself doing so. Break out your phone, hit the record button, record yourself using the word perfervid in a sentence, and then send it to us. You can do so by Facebook. You can also do it on Twitter, or you can do it or email it to me directly at cmcneil@11alive.com. Again, prefervid is the word of the day. All right, 2 days after the polls close across the United States, and we are slowly inching toward finding out who has clinched the election between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Several states are still undecided, including right here in Georgia. Heading into the election, Georgia not considered a battleground state, however, quickly becoming one, with the race becoming increasingly close, just a few thousand votes separating President Trump and his challenger Joe Biden. All right, we're going to show you some of those county numbers in just a few, but right here we're going to focus on the metro area. We have team coverage this morning, beginning right here in Fulton County with Joe Ripley, who is at State Farm Arena, where votes are still being scanned. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning to you, Chesley. The countdown is on, by the way. Elections workers behind me here at State Farm Arena. You can see them working hard, burning that midnight 4 a.m. oil, because they've been here for some 12, some 16 hours or more. Right now they are counting those absentee ballots. They still have a few more to go, a few more thousand to go, less than 10,000 now. Fulton County Elections Director Richard Barron, just spoke with him. He said the county received about 142,000 absentee ballots compared to the 60,000 who came in person on Election Day. This crew, by the way, planning on staying through the night and all morning long until every absentee ballot is processed and counted. They're processing here about 3,000 ballots an hour. That involves opening each envelope, inspecting each ballot, then scanning those ballots onto a card. The cards then sent to another location where the ballots are actually counted. Barron praised his staff's dedication over the last 48 hours.
We will probably be here a few more hours. I would imagine that the sun's going to come up before we finish. And we are looking to make sure that every vote gets counted.
Fulton County follows this process for every election. It just so happens they have to do so with an extremely high and historic absentee ballot count. Barron says staff will stay, of course, through the morning here to finish the count today, because he knows some big races are riding on this count.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe. Appreciate that. As you can imagine, it's a process that has to be done carefully, and you got to take time to get all those votes counted properly. It's not a quick process at all. Jerry Carnes also joins us now from Fulton County on what happens after the votes are scanned. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, Chesley. We're in a little bit of a lull here as we wait for more ballots to arrive from State Farm Arena. As soon as they get here, they will be loaded into a server right back there and uploaded to the Secretary of State's office. Those ballots arrive here on discs that include information on each ballot after they're scanned over at State Farm Arena. In some cases, the computer may alert election officials that there's an issue. For example, perhaps a voter made one selection on their paper ballot, tried to scratch that out, then make another selection. At that point, representatives from both the Democratic Party and Republican Party join with election officials to review those ballots and determine what should happen next. Then that batch of ballots is uploaded and they wait for the next batch. And that's what we're doing right now, is waiting for that next batch. We are told it could arrive anytime now. Then you'll see a flurry of activity back here. Chesley.
All right, thanks a lot, Jerry. Really appreciate that. We'll get more from you a little bit later on. All right, keep in mind it's not just affecting Fulton County, where a bulk of votes still need to be counted in parts of Gwinnett and also into DeKalb County. Early this morning, DeKalb County Election Office says the unofficial count has been completed, and those results will now be handed over to the Secretary of State's office. As far as Gwinnett goes, they're still getting a final tally. Liza Lucas joins us now from Gwinnett County with more on where they are in the process. And Liza, I understand the process could stretch into the weekend with a software glitch?
That's right. And at this point, Chesley, we still don't know how many absentee ballots rather, were affected by that software glitch. On the low end, it could be around 3,200. On the high end, well, it could be as much as 80,000. So again, we are staying on top of that number. But what we do know is that the ballots in question, they're going to need to be adjudicated. And if you're not familiar with how that process works, well, adjudication comes into play with a 3-member panel made up of representatives from both major parties. So you have a Republican, you have a Democrat, and then you have an election official review the ballot in question. Together, they determine the voter's intent. Now, officials tell us the process to fully adjudicate the ballots impacted by the software error could take 3 days. On top of that, we're told 4,400 absentee ballots received on Election Day still need to be counted, as well as votes that need to be rescanned from an advanced in-person voting site that had a corrupt data card, and also about 1,000 provisional ballots that can be counted. So a lot going on in Gwinnett County. The work very much continuing today. That adjudication process set to start this morning at 9 a.m. But again, officials tell us that it may be Sunday before we have an official tally here in Gwinnett.
Wow, we just have to be patient. Thanks a lot, Liza. Really appreciate that. Now, based on the preliminary numbers, President Trump does have a slight lead right here in Georgia, and he's fighting to hold on to that lead. Last night, the Trump campaign and the Georgia Republican Party filed a lawsuit against Chatham County Board of Elections. Mara Seriani picks up our team coverage from here at the state capitol with more on what that lawsuit is alleging. Good morning, Mara.
Good morning. Well, the Trump campaign has filed lawsuits in 3 states, all with close races. So we're talking Pennsylvania, we're talking Michigan, and now Georgia. And the campaign is alleging that ballots in some of these places were still being received after the polls closed on election night. So again, the Trump campaign and the Georgia GOP filing this lawsuit against Chatham County, home to the Democratic-leaning city of Savannah. They're asking a judge to order the county to secure an account for absentee ballots received after the state's deadline, 7 o'clock on Election Day. The lawsuit alleges that a Republican observer watched a poll worker there take 53 unprocessed absentee ballots from a back room and mix them into processed absentee ballots waiting to be tabulated. We ran this by 11 Alive political analyst Paige Pate. He calls this suit a preemptive strike.
There's no specific allegation of fraud. There's only some speculation that some of the ballots may have been mixed together with another set of ballots, but no direct evidence that any ballots that were received after 7 o'clock yesterday were counted or tabulated.
And Georgia's Secretary of State says every legitimate vote must and will be counted all across Georgia. Now, he is expected to hold a press conference at 10:30 this morning right here at the state capitol.
All right, we'll be waiting to hear back. Thanks a lot, Mark. Appreciate that. Now, Georgians and, quite frankly, the nation keeping a steady and close eye on the state's numbers. Christy Diaz is breaking those numbers down for us, county by county. Come on, break it down for us, Christy.
All right, Chesley, you ready for this? I've been keeping a close eye on these numbers too this morning, and this is where we stand right here. But don't be fooled by these percentages, because this makes it look actually farther apart than it really is. So, truly, this isn't really at 50%. These numbers are rounding. It's rounding up for President Trump and rounding down for Joe Biden. Right now, it's actually Trump sitting at 49.62% and Biden sitting at 49.15%. So right now we're talking about fractions of a percentage point here between the two. And if you do the math between these two numbers, there's only 22,567 votes between these two candidates. Every time we get an update, this race narrows. And the last update from the Fulton County, or not from the Fulton County, from the Secretary of State's office was at 2 a.m. So we're keeping our eye on that. But, so the question is, where are most of these votes coming from that's narrowing that gap? Most of them coming in for Biden. Most of these results have been trickling in from Fulton County, this blue core here in the center. And Fulton County is the only county that is continuing to count votes overnight, where Jerry was, so we're keeping an eye on that. Fulton County, every time we get a vote dump, that gap seems to narrow. Now, DeKalb County said they finished their counting. They sent that update right around 12:20, just after midnight. The unofficial results are in, but they'll be certified by next Friday. And then Gwinnett County, they have probably until the weekend to finish counting all of their ballots. So the crazy thing is that knowing how close, let's go back to those percentages again, knowing how close this is and how many more votes and ballots we still have to count, every time we do, that race narrows. That's why Georgia is still just too close to call. Chesley.
Which is why the nation is keeping their eye on us. Thanks a lot, Christy. Really appreciate that. We'll have more from you a little bit later on Morning Rush. Now, for the latest updates on the election, head over to 11live.com. We have the very latest on the ballot counts, also on the results as well. You can download our 11 Live app for alerts as well. All right, let's talk about our weather for a second here. Take your mind off the elections a little bit here, and it's going to be a gorgeous day for us. In fact, an 11 Live day. You can see around the nation, temperatures in the 70s for the most part. The warm spot would be 82 over toward Phoenix. A little bit cooler up there to the far north. Not much happening as far as any precipitation at all throughout the United States. You got to go all the way up to the Pacific Northwest to find a few raindrops there where you would expect to see some light rain, typically over there toward Seattle. The rest of the nation, fine. It's the middle of the nation where we have a few clouds. Got a system that's coming there. Hasn't tapped into that Gulf moisture yet, but expecting that to take place as we head through the day today. Here in Atlanta, we're looking at sunny skies to start, of course, and then we'll see the clouds begin to increase. Our chance of rain really doesn't increase until we get toward the weekend. All right, the race for the White House too close to call, as we've been telling you so far this morning, with several key states still up for grabs. We're going to take a look at some of those other numbers in other states coming up. Stay with us. All right, 4:45 is the time. Georgia, just one of a handful of states where it's still just too close to call for the presidential race. Right now, Joe Biden has the lead with the 253 presidential electoral votes to President Trump's 214. Yesterday, Biden expanded his lead with Michigan and Wisconsin were called for the former vice president. Francesca Amica joins us now with a look at some of those other states that are still up for grabs. Good morning.
That's right, Chesley. So we know Georgia is one of the states both candidates are hoping to claim. For both, it would help them inch closer to the 270 mark. So here's a look at the remaining undecided states. So the gray shaded states, Nevada, Arizona, Alaska, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina will determine the election. And we want to point out that the Associated Press has called Arizona for Biden. However, NBC has not. So until then, it too remains up for grabs. And we knew for weeks leading up to the election that record early voting would likely mean counting well past election night. But we have seen states that, as the polls closed on Tuesday, were leaning towards Trump. Yet once they started counting those early vote ballots, we've seen a close in the gap. So take, for instance, Pennsylvania. It's a key state with 20 electoral votes at stake, and it is still working to count ballots. At last count, according to the Associated Press, Trump has a slight lead in the Keystone State, edging out Biden by about 164,000 votes. Again, like Pennsylvania, Trump having the advantage in North Carolina, leading Biden by an even smaller margin. And right now, about 76,000 votes separating the two. That's according to the latest numbers from the Associated Press, which also reports about 94% of the state's votes have been tallied. So again, a very tight race, Chesley, and still very much anyone's race. So we will continue to keep watching any new developments, Chesley.
Francesca, appreciate that. All right, folks, we are looking at a nice day ahead. Plenty of sunshine, at least to start. We'll have a few clouds move in late, but it won't take away too much from our sunshine. When will the rain come? And could Tropical Storm Ada make it up to where we are? We'll talk about it in the full forecast straight ahead. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the show. 4:50 is the current time. Traffic Tracker Crash Clark here with you. Of course, it's all about GDOT wrapping stuff up, usually around 5 o'clock. That's when they kind of get everything out of the way. I saw this one myself. They had two right lanes blocked on 285 eastbound from about Glen Ridge all the way past. Actually, it started back around Roswell Road over towards Glen Ridge and 400. Then they were pacing the traffic, and it looks spooky on the camera. But as you can see, everything pretty much back to normal now across that top end. Just remember, if you come across any of those GDOT work zones, just slow it down. Not bad if you're rolling in from the big three. Look at that, 75 out of Cobb and Cherokee, not bad. Georgia 400, equally as nice. Just remember, when you're going through 400 and 285, a lot of changes with the lanes and the design. I mean, I've lived there in Sandy Springs pretty much my whole time here in Georgia, and I get confused too. 85 also looking pretty decent. Not bad as we start things off for what I like to call Friday Eve. Mr. Chesley McNeil, speaking of Friday, I'm thinking I might get out there and swing 18. How am I looking?
Good. Good. I mean, no worries at all if you're going to get out there and make it happen. Man, you know, I haven't been out at all this year. I keep saying that. I don't think it's going to change. Let's take a look. We have clear skies or fair skies starting off this morning at least. Not bad and not bad at all. But you may notice, look at this, over toward our west, a few clouds there. That's going to be the case for us today. I think clouds will be on the increase, not only from the west, but also from the east as well, populating our southernmost counties first, and then eventually it's going to make its way up toward us. I think by after 1 or 2 o'clock, you'll start to see those clouds begin to move overhead. Starting off on the cool side also, so we have the fair skies, but we also have temperatures down into the 40s, some low 40s out here as well. We got 43 degrees right now in Marietta, 42 over toward Carrollton, 41 in Rome, 43 degrees up toward Dalton. 35 is the cool spot up in Blairsville, so you need a coat at least up in Blairsville starting off this morning. It's going to be an 11 live day for the most part. When we look at the totality of the day, we'll have mostly sun before we get those clouds in here. And so I'm going to give it an 11 live day. Temperatures close to where we should be for this time of year, right around 67, 68 degrees. 70 is sort of a bonus for us, right? A little bit mild during the afternoon after that cool start. Not bad at all. You see the clouds back off to the west. No rain associated with those clouds there. And also over here toward the east, we got a little bit of moisture trying to make its way in. Again, will affect the southern counties first, and then eventually some of those clouds will start to move up toward our way as well. So we'll watch that. Thanks to the area of high pressure that has been dominant in our area for really all week long. Now starting to move over toward the east, so we're getting into more of a northeasterly flow, and then eventually an easterly flow will bring in more of that low-level moisture, so the clouds will begin to increase. All right, we're down to a tropical depression now with Ada, and it's over land and doesn't look like much at all. So why are we watching it? Because it is forecast to move back out to sea, and once it gets over those warmer waters, of course, it has a chance to reform, possibly into a tropical storm. Right now, those winds are down to about 30 miles per hour, moving very slowly still to the west-northwest at 8 miles per hour. Again, it's forecast to move back out to sea over the northern Caribbean and become a tropical storm. With winds up to 45 miles per hour. That's by Saturday morning. We'll continue up toward Cuba, then eventually, notice how it curves back once it gets adjacent to South Florida, and then moves into the Gulf. And then where will it go from there? Long-range models show it kind of riding up Florida and then could be moving straight to the north and could bring in more wet weather for us as we head into next week. So we're going to keep an eye on this and keep you updated as we go along. Here's our forecast track model. You can follow along with the time right there at the top of the screen. Shows us starting off with mostly sunny skies. By the afternoon, you'll get a few clouds in. Partly cloudy skies once we get toward the evening. We're going to start off Friday with partly sunny skies and stay that way pretty much through the day. Notice the rain stays down to the south of us. Saturday, even more clouds move in. It'll be a mix of sun and clouds on Saturday, but the rain stays down to the south. Of course, we'll introduce you to a 20% chance for that rain on Sunday. Low chance. 71 degrees will be the high temperature. That chance for rain will start to increase a little bit as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And of course, Ada may have a role in that. And so we'll keep you updated on that as we go. But notice those temperatures continuously warm up to the middle 70s next week. We're back right after this.
All right, y'all know I like to hoist a little steel, but I guarantee you I can't do this. Former Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker James Harrison putting on a show, benching 525 pounds. Come on, get it up there. Look at the way the bar bends with all that weight on it. 42 years young, 14 seasons of football under his belt, and he is throwing up 525. That is crazy.
You know, I met him, well, I saw him one time in Arizona. We had a stare down, he and I, getting off a plane. And I was like, he's really, intimidating. I'll just say that.
Yeah, he needs to have someone spot him, though. I mean, that other rep, when you missed that one, that's how you got to get it off the bar, by rolling it across your chest.
I mean, you talked about the bending of the bar. Oh, my gosh, man.
Yeah.
Scary guy. Don't go anywhere. Morning Rush coming up right after the break.
We are now entering a second full day of ballot counting. At last check, about 90,000 to go as we await the final results in several key races, including President of the United States. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sheba Russell.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. More than 24 hours after the polls close, neither President Trump nor Joe Biden have collected enough Electoral College votes to win the White House. So let's take a look at the numbers as they stand across the country for you, or rather, that's a look at the White House, or rather Congress right now. And so we will continue to track and monitor those numbers. We have several live reports coming up for you.
We have team coverage this morning as we work to guide you through all the dizzying election developments.
And there's a lot to keep up with, including a lawsuit that has been filed in our state by the Trump campaign and the Georgia Republican Party over absentee ballots. But let's get you started this morning with Joe Ripley, who is live inside State Farm Arena. And that's where votes are being scanned as we speak, Joe.
That's right. Good morning to you, Jennifer. We actually just got an update from elections officials here in Fulton County. Right now, about 7,600 ballots left to sort through, to process and scan, and then to account for here in Fulton County. These workers behind me here at State Farm Arena have spent hours through the night, through the early morning hours, and they have committed to staying here until those votes are processed and counted. Fulton County Elections Director Richard Barron said the county received 142,000 absentee ballots compared to the 60,000 who voted on Election Day. This crew plans to stay, of course, through the night again until every absentee ballot is counted. They are processing about 3,000 ballots an hour, and that process involves opening each envelope, inspecting each ballot, then scanning the ballots onto a card. Those cards are then sent to another location where the ballots are actually counted. Barron says we could be nearing an end to the count after dawn.
We will probably be here a few more hours. I would imagine that the sun's going to come up before we finish. And we are looking to make sure that every vote gets counted.
And Barron believes the election process here in Fulton County has gone smoothly. He says it went great because of all of this massive turnout. He knows a lot is riding on it with tight races here in Georgia, so the pressure is on to finish this count.
And they're working overtime, a big difference from what we saw on election night. After those votes are counted, they will be sent to the elections warehouse in Northwest Atlanta, and that's where we find Jerry Carnes with the latest.
Good morning, Sheba. A fresh batch of ballots just arrived here from State Farm Arena, and you can see the activity taking place right now. Those ballots have been loaded into a server, and folks have gathered around examining those ballots, checking them to make sure that there aren't any issues, and then those ballots are uploaded to the Secretary of State. It is a tedious process, but once the ballots arrive here, it moves pretty quickly. Occasionally, it doesn't happen often, but occasionally a computer will alert election officials to a potential issue. There may be marks on a paper ballot, maybe an effort for a voter to scratch out and change a vote. There have been occasions where voters on these paper ballots have voted for more than one candidate in a race. Election officials and representatives from each party examine those ballots with the issues and determine together what to do with them. And I've talked to folks here, and they say that process has gone very well. If you come back live here, you take a look and see again folks from Fulton County, along with representatives of both the Democratic and Republican Party, are examining the fresh batch of ballots, looking at those that might have an issue, and then they are uploaded to the Secretary of State's office. Again, as you're hearing, we're expecting this whole process to be finished sometime this morning.
And Biden and Trump separated in Georgia by just a fraction of a percentage point. So we'll update you on those numbers as soon as they come in. As Jerry just reported, that fresh batch just hit the elections warehouse. 5:04 right now. The Trump campaign now taking legal action against at least 3 states still counting ballots, and that includes a county in Georgia.
The campaign is asking a judge to order the county, this Chatham County, to secure and account for ballots received after 7 p.m. on Election Day. Ramar Siriani continues our team coverage this morning from the state capitol with more.
Yeah, this lawsuit, at least in Georgia, is over 53 ballots. So you guys mentioned those other 2 states, Pennsylvania and Michigan. These are 3 states where the race is incredibly tight at this point. And yeah, it's over the suspicion that ballots were still being received after the polls closed on Election Day. So let's dive into this a little bit further here. The Georgia GOP and the Trump campaign filed this lawsuit against Chatham County, home to the Democratic-leaning city of Savannah. They are asking a judge to order the county to secure an account for absentee ballots received after that 7 p.m. deadline on Election Day. Now, the lawsuit alleges that a Republican observer watched a poll worker there take 53 unprocessed absentee ballots from a back room and mix them into processed ballots waiting to be tabulated. We ran this by 11 Alive political analyst Paige Pate. He calls this suit a preemptive strike.
They want to call attention to the counties that are critical right now. That would be Chatham, that would be DeKalb, that would be Fulton, where there's still a significant number of ballots to be counted.
And Georgia's Secretary of State says that every legitimate vote will be counted, and we are expecting an update from him at 10:30 this morning right here at the Capitol. Of course, we will keep you updated.
Mara, thank you. I'm Francesca Amaker. Count the vote. That's the message of several protests and rallies across the nation yesterday, including right here in Atlanta. A small group of Trump supporters gathered downtown outside State Farm Arena, where ballots are being scanned. And organizers say they plan to be out there daily until all votes are counted. Over in Arizona, dozens of people gathered at the Maricopa election office in downtown Phoenix. People were seen waving Trump 2020 flags and signs late into the evening. At one point, some of the protesters attempted to get inside of the elections building. Local sheriff's deputies eventually formed a line out front to keep the crowd away from the doors. And officials say some vote center workers and members of the media were escorted away for safety reasons. Now, in the Northeast, dozens marched down the streets of Philadelphia, holding up a large banner that said, "Count every vote," just hours after the city's streets reopened. A crowd also marched in Pittsburgh, holding up signs and chanting that no one should undermine the electoral process. Now, hundreds of people marched through Midtown Manhattan, carrying signs and chanting, "Every vote counts, count every vote." And the march began with just a few dozen people near the New York City Public Library and continued to grow as they headed toward Washington Square Park. Now let's go to Portland, Oregon. Demonstrators marched there on the highway and through the streets of downtown. The message the same: count every vote. Jennifer.
All right, Francesca, thank you for that look. Meanwhile, Christy Diaz joining us now from our newsroom with a closer look at the breakdown that we're seeing county by county. Christy?
Well, Jennifer, we are keeping an extra close eye here on Fulton County because we know that they just got a fresh batch of votes to be scanned and counted. So these numbers should update soon. It'll be the first update we've had since about 1 o'clock in the morning. So I will keep my eyes closely on those numbers. But look at the spread already. Biden up almost 50 points in Fulton County. Now, we're also keeping an eye on DeKalb, but just after midnight, they announced that they are done counting. So the unofficial vote is in. Those votes in DeKalb will be certified by next Friday, and so that one is pretty good to go. Gwinnett County, though, it's going to take a little longer. They're still going to be counting votes probably until the weekend, so still remains to be seen when Gwinnett County could be called. Now let's go outside of the metro because we're also watching some counties down here. We're watching Chatham County, which is down here by Savannah. You can see those numbers. Biden, that's still a Democratic county, Biden leading there. That is the county where President Trump just filed a lawsuit. We're also taking a look back in Middle Georgia. This is a county where Trump is ahead. This is Houston County. He's ahead by more than 10 points. And then if we come down here into this corner of the state, we're also keeping an eye on Dougherty County. We believe that there are still votes to be counted in each one of those counties. Again, I am tracking these numbers by the half hour, by the minute, really. So we have a good breakdown county by county, and I'll bring you updates just as soon as we get them.
Christy, thank you. And our coverage of the 2020 election continues online at 11alive.com, and that's where you'll find real-time results. 5:09 right now on a Thursday morning. Hard to keep track of the days here, Chesley. How's our weather looking?
Well, we're looking fine to start. We're going to have plenty of sunshine, at least for the morning. And then by the afternoon, you'll notice the clouds increasing. We got some coming in from the east and then over toward the west as well. We'll watch those clouds increase in our area, but not going to take away too much from our sunshine today. In fact, still an 11 live day on the whizometer. Temperature starting off on the cool side. You've got some 30s out there, like Peachtree City at 39, 34, the cool spot up in Blairsville. You had 49 in Atlanta, 42 degrees in Carrollton, 46 over toward Duluth. Here's your forecast for today. 65 degrees by noon under mostly sunny skies, partly sunny skies by 3 o'clock this afternoon. It will be mild with temperatures topping off right near 70 degrees. Got a tropical storm that could be heading our way as we head into next week. We'll talk more about that in the full forecast coming up. Crash Clark, over to you.
All right, my friend, pretty quiet to start things off. I was keeping an eye on some GDOT work wrapping up across the top end, 285 eastbound around Roswell Road. They have done that, but we've got ourselves a little buckhead boo-boo over here off of Peachtree. A lot of construction around Peachtree and Collier. This is just off of Bennett Street and Peachtree. Just a little heads up if you're out and about early right now. But however, look at this, big three, not bad at all from the northern burbs. In fact, you're all condition green, relatively calm out there as we start off what I like to call Friday Eve. There's a live shot showing Peachtree at Collier. As you can see, not a whole lot of activity. Sheba?
Ahead here on Morning Rush, the process to count all the votes in one metro county could last into the weekend. More on the software glitch and why election officials are not sure just how many ballots are affected.
And Twitter flags President Trump's tweet after he posted about the continued ballot counts in several states, calling them surprise ballots. Our Verify team is digging deeper into his claims. Our election coverage continues this morning. Let's take a look at the U.S. presidential race from across the country and where it stands right now. Looking like former Vice President Joe Biden with 50% of the vote. Current President Donald Trump about 48%. A couple million votes separating the two right now as far as the popular vote.
All right, so that's the national numbers. Here's how Georgians have voted so far in the race for president. Trump is leading by a fraction of a percentage point with only about 23,000 votes separating the two. And another race we are closely watching this morning is for the U.S. Senate. Right now, incumbent Republican Senator David Perdue is holding on to the lead with 50.1%. Democrat Jon Ossoff trailing behind with about 48%. The gap narrowing as more and more ballots are being counted in the metro areas favorable to Ossoff. This could be headed for a runoff.
So right now, volunteers are counting ballots around the clock all over the state. Poll workers putting in endless hours trying to get those votes in.
But in Gwinnett County, it could take workers several days to fully process all of the ballots. Liza Lucas joining us now from outside the Gwinnett County Board of Election headquarters in Lawrenceville with the very latest on the count. And it doesn't sound like a simple thing happening there in Gwinnett County, Liza.
Lots of numbers and still lots of unknowns really here in Gwinnett County, but what we do know is the work is going to continue, and that is due to that software glitch that we have been talking about throughout the course of the week. That software error, we don't know how many ballots it impacted. It could be on the low end around 3,200, on the high end it could be tens of thousands. We're staying on top of that, but in the meantime we do know that those ballots that were affected by that software error, those absentee ballots, they're going to need to go through the adjudication process. The ones that have been flagged by the system, they will be re-adjudicated today. And if you're not familiar with how that all works, that's when a 3-member panel made up of representatives from both major parties plus an election official review the ballot in question. So you've got human eyes reviewing the ballot. Together they determine the voter's intent. Now officials tell us the process to fully adjudicate the ballots impacted by the software error could take 3 days. And on top of that, we're told 4,400 absentee ballots received on election day still need to be counted, as well as votes that need to be rescanned from an advanced in-person voting site that had a corrupt data card. In addition, about 1,000 provisional ballots also need to be counted. So a lot of moving parts happening here in Gwinnett. That adjudication process set to start at 9 a.m. today. That's when the teams will reconvene here, begin that work. So we're going to stay on top of it here in Gwinnett County, but officials tell us that we may not have that official tally here in Gwinnett until Sunday.
All right, let's take a look at our hour-by-hour forecast. It shows temperature starting off on the cool side. We'll be heating up into the, well, close to 70 degrees for an afternoon high, but you'll also notice the clouds increase. No rain coming out of the clouds today. I'll let you know when the rain will come coming up. 5:18, welcome back to the show. We are looking at fair skies over Georgia's Rome. Take a live look here from our camera over in Georgia's Rome. Not much going on the streets of Georgia. It's early in the morning. We will see clouds increase as we head through the afternoon. Here it is, our 4 essential times today. We call it the forecast. Starting off with temperatures in the 40s. We'll hit 65 degrees by noon today under mostly sunny skies. Partly sunny once we get toward 3 o'clock. That's when we'll hit a high of near 70 and then drop back down to 61 degrees by 7 o'clock tonight. Again, with partly cloudy skies tonight. There's a bunch of clouds back off to the west of us. No rain coming out of those clouds at all. And then back off to the east, as you can see, some moisture starting to come in here as well. So yeah, we'll get it from both sides at least. It's high pressure now starting to move a little bit further to the east of us. We've got a northeasterly flow coming in, at least for this morning. And so we'll continue to watch that for you as we head through the rest of the week and into the weekend as our cloud cover begins to increase, but the rain chance is very, very low for us. What could also play a role in our forecast as far as the rain goes will be into next week. We're talking about, well, now the remnants of Ada, but it is forecast to move back out to sea and become a tropical storm, and then it will move up towards South Florida. This will be by Monday, and then it heads back into the Gulf. We have to see where it goes from there, but we'll be moving north and could spread some moisture our way as well, so we'll keep you updated on that. Forecast track model shows the clouds increasing once we get toward the afternoon. We'll see them increase through the overnight as well, wind up with partly cloudy skies for much of the day on Friday, and then as we head into Saturday, a mix of sun and clouds, but notice the rain stays away from us. It won't be until we get toward Sunday and into Monday that the rain chance increases. We'll give it a 20% chance for that rain on Sunday, and Monday goes up to a 30 to 40% chance by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. And again, Ada could have a role in that forecast. All right, time for our Weather Wild moment. This one coming to us from Scott. Unbelievable shot here. Look at that view. Man, up there in Union County. Scott stays up there in the mountains, I believe, and keeps sending us these beautiful pictures. Love it, love it, love it. I want to see yours as well. Easiest way to do that is to share them with us on our 11 Live Storm Tracker Facebook group. You can interact with our meteorologists and get your videos and photos shown right here on TV. Crash Clark, over to you.
All right, my friend. Yeah, I got to get up to the mountains and do some peeping before the colors are all gone. Hey, I found that wreck I was talking about on Peachtree, right near Colonial Homes. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's all in a parking lot, so that's some good news. Here's Peachtree right here. Both directions don't seem to be impacted. That's the good news. The bad news is I did find a wreck down south, heads up, 85 northbound, right near 166 Langford Parkway. Now, at one point, they had all lanes blocked. That's why you see the black indicator. But the good news is I just checked it out from a sky tracker. It is all off to the right, so not bad. A couple bumps and bruises, but we're doing pretty good. We'll be right back. More Morning Rush. Don't go away.
President Trump tweeting a lot while states continue to count the ballots, expressing concern about the process. Twitter even flagging a few of his tweets, labeling them misleading. We asked Jason Puckett with our Verify team to get to the bottom of it all.
Wednesday morning, the president sent out this tweet saying last night he was leading in many key states. Then the leads, quote, started to magically disappear as surprise ballot dumps were counted. Here's the president in the early morning hours on Wednesday.
We're winning Michigan, but I'll tell you, I looked at the numbers. I said, whoa. I said, wow, that's a lot. By almost 300,000 votes, and 65% of the vote is in. And we're winning Wisconsin.
Now, since that speech, Wisconsin and Michigan have both counted more votes. The president says these changes are due to surprise ballots, which are, quote, very strange. But there's nothing surprising or strange going on right now. We even verified this yesterday, before the polls closed. Wisconsin and Michigan are both states where ballot counting didn't start until Election Day. That means the record-breaking number of mail-in absentee ballots couldn't be counted before Tuesday. The states knew this was going to take time. Here's the Michigan Secretary of State earlier this week.
We are on track to see double the number of absentee ballots, just over 3 million, submitted before 8 p.m. tomorrow. Based on basic math, we should expect it would take no more than 80 hours to count those ballots, which would take us through Friday.
And Wisconsin published a series of videos in October explaining that
accurate election results take time. The numbers you hear on election night aren't actually official.
Bottom line, the claim that these numbers magically changed due to surprising ballots is false. At this point, there's no evidence these are anything other than legitimately cast ballots being counted like normal. Folks, if you see other election claims out there you want us to check out, send us an email.
This is a live look from inside State Farm Arena this morning, where the ballot scanning continues for Fulton County. Coming up, we have more from our crews live across the metro as we continue to wait on results from Georgia.
Temperatures were right near 70 degrees for this afternoon and constantly warm up as we head toward the weekend. Our chance for rain goes up as well.
Yeah, I found the wreck on the connector northbound right near 166. It's sitting off to the right and not bothering anybody.
Our nation on edge, waiting to find out who will be the next president. Ballots are still being counted in key battleground states, and Georgia is one of them. At last check, about 90,000 ballots still needed to be tallied. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sheba Russell.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. We are now entering the second full day of election ballot counting, with results shifting moment by moment, and we could see some solid numbers from Georgia today. Let's take a look now at numbers from across the country for the race for president. Joe Biden, the former vice president and Democratic candidate, in at 50% right now. Current president Donald Trump, the Republican, at 48%.
Those numbers will change as 6 states still remain uncalled. That is Arizona, Alaska, Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. And this is a live look at the counting going on inside State Farm Arena in Atlanta. Workers going into the overnight here, and you can see them quietly but quickly getting those ballots processed for Fulton County. Now, a live look at the election workers at Fulton County's election warehouse processing ballots round the clock there as well. All of the vote counting causing the nation to take to the streets, rallies popping up all over the country, demonstrators in Philadelphia and other major cities demanding every legal vote be counted. Tracy Potts joining us live from Wilmington, Delaware with more on this tight presidential race.
Sheba, we're seeing demonstrations. We are also seeing legal challenges by the Trump team here in Wilmington. Joe Biden's campaign says they are ready to meet all of those legal challenges.
Protecting the vote.
Where are the votes? Where are the votes?
Near Phoenix, dozens of Trump supporters gather at the elections building, some trying to get inside. Security had to escort workers away. A similar scene in Detroit, where self-proclaimed election challengers tried to storm the room where votes are being counted.
No candidate, no campaign, no political party is going to stop us from counting every vote in Michigan.
Joe Biden is projected to win Michigan. President Trump is suing there and in Georgia and Pennsylvania to stop the count or let his observers in.
They're trying to cheat us out of it because they know it's their only path to victory.
Not a single Republican has been able to look at any one of these mail ballots. They could be from Mars as far as we're concerned.
Pennsylvania officials say it could be days before they're done.
Every vote is going to count. I'm going to fight like hell to protect the vote of every Pennsylvanian.
Biden is now within striking distance of the 270 electoral votes needed to win this election.
I'm not here to declare that we've won, but I am here to report that when the count is finished, we believe we will be the winners.
Around the country, count the vote rallies. 157 million people have voted this year, the highest rate in a century, with votes still being counted and the election still in limbo.
And how long this is going to take kind of depends on where you are. You were talking about them counting all night in Georgia. Same thing in Pennsylvania. They're saying it's going to take a few days to wrap things up there. Michigan was hoping to wrap up their count overnight. Wisconsin said they were actually just checking the numbers at this point. Sheba?
All right, Tracy Potts reporting for us. Thank you so much. We will have much more information on those lawsuits filed by the president, including the one filed here in Georgia, in just about 5 minutes. But first, let's take a look at how Georgians have voted so far in the presidential race. Just a few moments ago, we took a look at the votes across the country. Here in Georgia, current President Donald Trump at 50%, Joe Biden at 49%. Again, there's just about a fraction of a vote, maybe about a half a percentage vote that is separating the tally thus far. Again, we are expecting these numbers to shift and change as we continue to watch the results. We have team coverage for you this morning to help us break down all of the newest developments. And there's a lot to keep up with, including a lawsuit that has been filed against a county in our state by the Trump campaign and the Georgia Republican Party over absentee ballots. Let's get out now to Joe Ripley, who is live at State Farm Arena, where Fulton County votes are being scanned ahead of their actual counting. Joe?
Yeah, we are waiting on that next update on how many absentee ballots are left to be counted here in Fulton County. The workers here at State Farm Arena have been working around the clock, through the night, through the early morning hours to try and get this count done. At last check, around 7,000 absentee ballots left to count. Fulton County Elections Director Richard Barron said the county received about 142,000 absentee ballots compared to that 60,000 who voted on Election Day. His crew planning on staying through the night until that processing and counting is done. They're processing about 3,000 ballots an hour, and they're on pace to finish up around 9 o'clock this morning. That process involving opening each envelope, inspecting each ballot, then scanning those ballots onto a card. Those cards then sent to another location where the ballots are actually counted. Barron saying we could be nearing an end to that count after dawn.
We just want to make sure we get done. Georgia's one of the last states that hasn't been called. The result of the state hasn't been called, so we want to do our part to make sure that we get our absentee by mail count in.
And keep this in mind as we get a better sense of those vote counts and totals here in Fulton County and statewide in Georgia. Any race, any statewide race here in Georgia that comes within half a percentage point triggers an automatic recount.
We're all on pins and needles here, Joe. Thank you. So Joe Ripley mentioned that those votes are scanned onto cards and then brought over to another facility. That is the Fulton County Election Warehouse in Northwest Atlanta. That's where they're counted. And Jerry Carnes is there with the latest. They're still going as well, huh, Jerry?
Absolutely. Been going all night, and they are still going. We just got a fresh batch of ballots from State Farm Arena just before 5 a.m., and this is what's been going on ever since. You see Fulton County election officials, along with representatives of both the Democratic and Republican parties, examining some of the ballots. After they were loaded into a server, eventually they will be uploaded to the Secretary of State's office. Those ballots come here on a disc after they're scanned at State Farm Arena, and in some cases, the scanner will alert to a possible issue. For example, perhaps a voter made one selection on their paper ballot, tried to scratch it off, then make another selection. We've had several instances where that Senate race had so many candidates, some people voted for two candidates without knowing they shouldn't. At that point, a representative from both the Democratic Party and Republican Party joined with those election officials here in Fulton County to review those ballots and determine what should happen. At that point, those ballots are uploaded to the Secretary of State's office, and then we wait for another batch of ballots from State Farm Arena. So this examination of this particular batch has been going on for about 45 minutes now. They tell us that they typically take between a half hour and 45 minutes to finish. So eventually they'll send us on to the Secretary of State, and we'll wait for that next batch.
Jerry Carnes, thank you so much. Gwinnett County still working to tally its Election Day results. Votes there still need to be counted and fully adjudicated, meaning it could take days before a final count is complete. Gwinnett County is where we find our Liza Lucas with the latest on that count right now. Liza?
Good morning, Jennifer. Yes, here at the Board of Election headquarters, and at this point, officials are telling us that they may be processing ballots on Saturday, even Sunday. So we're staying on top of that here, but they do expect it to take days. And the focus this morning, well, that will be on the mail-in absentee ballots that were affected by that software glitch. The glitch that we have been talking about here in Gwinnett all week. The software problem interfered with the way thousands of mailed absentee ballots are scanned in batches. The ballots in question will have to be adjudicated again. Now, that process could take 3 days and involves a representative of each major party. You heard Jerry mention this process, plus an election official working together to decide the voter's intent. Now, on top of that, Gwinnett has approximately 4,400 absentee ballots from election night that still need to be counted, as well as votes that need to be rescanned from an advanced in-person voting site that had corrupt data card, and also about 1,000 provisional ballots that still need to be tallied. And we want to be clear and circle back to the absentee ballots in question and that software glitch. Those absentee ballots, they were already adjudicated going into election night. So officials here, they voted to push those votes through on Tuesday night, knowing that the results could change now that some of these flag ballots are going to have to go through that adjudication process again. So they indicated the results could change. We're going to be watching to see those shifts unfold. And again, it could take several days here in Gwinnett County. The process expected to start at 9 a.m. this morning.
It'll be interesting to see here, Liza and Jay Bell, as to whether the Secretary of State's office will call Georgia without Gwinnett, or they'll wait for Gwinnett to officially count all of those ballots through the weekend. So we'll keep an eye on that for all of you. As the race for the White House tightens, the Trump campaign is now taking legal action in our state and 2 others over the ballot counting.
The campaign says some absentee ballots in Georgia were received after an election day deadline. Mar Sirianni continues our team coverage for you this morning from the state capitol with more on why this lawsuit was filed in the first place.
Well, to be exact, the lawsuit filed by the Trump campaign here in Georgia is over 53 absentee ballots. You mentioned those other 2 states, Pennsylvania and Michigan. They have also filed lawsuits there. So 3 states where this race is incredibly tight. And yeah, it's over the suspicion that these ballots were being received after the deadline on Election Day. So let's dive into this a little bit deeper here. So the Georgia GOP and the Trump campaign, again, filing that lawsuit against Chatham County, home to the Democratic-leaning city of Savannah, and they are asking a judge to order the county to secure an account for those ballots received after the state's 7 p.m. deadline on Election Day. The lawsuit alleges that a Republican observer watched a poll worker there take 53 unprocessed absentee ballots from a back room and mix them into processed ballots waiting to be tabulated. 11 Alive political analyst Paige Pate calling this lawsuit a preemptive strike.
There's no specific allegation of fraud. There's only some speculation that some of the ballots may have been mixed together with another set of ballots, but no direct evidence that any ballots that were received after 7 o'clock yesterday were counted or tabulated.
So we will see what happens here. In the meantime, Georgia's Secretary of State says that every legitimate vote will be and must be counted. He's expected to hold a press conference update at 10:30 this morning right here at the Capitol. Again, of course, we'll keep you updated on what happens.
Everyone eager to see what he says, 10:30 a.m., and we will carry it live. Look for more of our coverage of the 2020 election online at 11alive.com, and that's where you'll find real-time results. It is 5:41 right now. Let's take a look at your weather and traffic on this Friday Eve.
All right, we're looking at clear skies or fair skies starting off this morning, Sheba, and clouds will increase as we head toward the afternoon. You can see them back off to the west of us, and also that moisture coming in off the east as well. So eventually, yeah, clouds will move in. But we start you off with clear skies. Temperatures down into the 40s. It's a bit of a cool start for us, so you're going to need at least a sweater, maybe a light jacket to start, especially places like Canton at 43, 42 over toward Marietta, 41 right now in Carrollton, down toward LaGrange. You're looking at 39 degrees in Peachtree City. So again, cool start. We'll get mild this afternoon, 65 degrees by noon, near 70 for your afternoon high today. Crash?
I also will take that wreck that's sitting off to the right on our connector northbound. This is down south, right on the connector northbound, just as 75 and 85 are kind of merging together there, but it is all off to the right. At one point, they had all lanes blocked, kind of impacting 85. Not the story now. They're just basically doing the paperwork. In fact, if you're coming in from that south side, you are zipping along. Look at that, averaging about 71 miles an hour on both 85 and 75. That's not bad. Stays that way all the way around that Grady curve. And folks, if you're heading southbound, got to get down to the airport, you're going to do it in less than 10 minutes from Brookwood all the way to that south side split. Give you a live look. That shows 85 and 75, your connector down near Langford Parkway. There it is right there. That's all that's left of your wreck. Just one little single car sitting off to the right. Not a bad way to start our Friday Eve.
5:43 right now. Unofficial count. DeKalb County saying it has completed part of the process to get you election results. What's left to be done?
Welcome back to Morning Rush with meteorologist Chesley McNeil, Francesca Amaker, Crash Clark, and Sheba Russell.
The ballots are still being processed, scanned, and counted at this hour in Fulton County. DeKalb County wrapping up just a few hours ago.
The county is saying it has completed its unofficial vote count. Christy Diaz joining us now with a breakdown of the latest numbers. Christy?
DeKalb County is definitely one of the most democratic counties in the state, except for maybe Clayton County just to its south. But look at this margin here. Biden is winning by almost 70 points in DeKalb County. So that's where a lot of this narrowing margin is coming from, these deep blue counties right in here. So DeKalb County just after midnight announced that they have finished counting all of their ballots, all of their votes. So that is an unofficial final count that we're getting. We're still waiting on some of those numbers to be reflected right up here, but they said they're done. And when it all came down to it, they finished counting, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 9, 4, 8, almost 370,000 votes. Here's how it all broke down too. Election day, less than 50,000 people actually went in on November 3rd to cast their ballots. Most of the voting came from advance voting, early voting, and then another large chunk came by absentee, voted by mail. 200 ballots need to be cured. That means they have to go through that review process. And then there's about 1,600 provisional ballots. So results in DeKalb County are complete but unofficial. They should be certified by next Friday, November 13th.
Well, ahead on Morning Rush, our political analyst, Dr. Andra Gillespie, will join us to talk about the key races in our state and the voting process. That's ahead for you at 6:45 here on Morning Rush.
5:47 is the current time. Getting ready to leave the house. Grab that sweater. Grab that light jacket. You may need. The temperatures are down into the 40s. Your 4 essential times of the day shows that we'll start off in the 40s, but heat it up close to 70 by the time we get toward this afternoon, with a few more clouds moving into the forecast area. By 3 o'clock, I'm thinking partly sunny skies. We'll hold on to partly cloudy skies tonight, dropping down to 61 degrees by 7 o'clock tonight. Still pleasant for us, right? We'll take that. Notice back off to the west, we do have a wall of clouds. No rain coming out of those clouds at all. Not yet, anyway. And then over here toward the east, you notice that easterly flow coming in as well, providing a few clouds in the central and southern portions of the state. So we're getting it from both sides, at least. We'll start off with the sunshine, but again, the clouds will increase later this afternoon. High pressure has been our friend. It's been dominant over the east last couple of days. Now it's starting to slide a little further to the east, and so with that, we're getting back into an easterly flow. So that's going to increase our temperatures, and also will increase the level of moisture over us as well. So that's what's going to bring in the clouds. We're continuing to track Ada down to a tropical depression right now. You can barely see that center of circulation, but it is over land, over Honduras. We'll continue to pull up to the north, and eventually it's going to move right back out to the Caribbean Sea and become, or potentially become, a tropical storm once again. Right now, those winds up to 30 miles per hour, moving very slowly to the west-northwest at 8 miles per hour. There's the latest track from the Hurricane Center. You can see how it moves over toward Cuba. And this won't be until the weekend. Over the weekend, it'll move over toward Cuba, across Cuba, and then move up toward South Florida, and then eventually pull into the Gulf once again. Man, the Gulf can't catch a break this season. So that will continue. Now, we'll have an effect, or possibly have an effect, on our forecast once we get into the early part of next week. Until then, enjoy the sunshine. Clouds will increase this afternoon, and we'll see those clouds continue to pick up through the overnight. Partly sunny skies for your Friday, but it remains dry. Even on Saturday, you're looking at a mix of sun and clouds through the day, but the rain will stay down to the south of us. Won't be until Sunday that we introduce a 20% chance of the rain, and that goes up as we head into next week. Crash?
All right, my friend. Yeah, we're definitely enjoying that sunshine. Of course, you take the raindrops out of the equation for a rush hour, and things kind of work out a little bit better for us. We don't know. Pretty quiet right now. 6 o'clock hour, we start seeing that volume picking up. Right now, the I-20s are looking good. I'm going to give you 2 thumbs up there. Folks in from Conyers and Covington, how about that? 12 minutes from 138 to the perimeter. Pretty much an equal ride on the west side from Douglasville. 11 minutes, Highway 92, Fairburn Road into I-285. Give you a live look. That is I-20, the West Expressway, right around Fulton Industrial Boulevard. Got a few folks out and about early, but so far, so good. Sheba?
All right, Crash, thank you. It is 5:50 right now, and I believe, is this our live look? No, it's not our live look yet. All right, we know you all have so many questions, and our Verified team is on top of it all. At 6:15, we're going to take a closer look at the process to count your vote.
In curing an absentee ballot, we explain what it means and how it works.
All right, here is our live look inside the election warehouse for Fulton County. This is in northwest Atlanta. So this is where, after the votes are processed and scanned, that's where those cards are taken to, and then they're scanned in, and then we know what the current count is. So just about an hour ago, we found out about a fresh batch of ballots that hit this warehouse. Right now, we are waiting for those numbers to be updated as we continue to look for the results for the race for president. Right now, it is still too close to call between Biden and Trump. About 23,000 votes separating the pair, with Trump still leading. .554 right now. The 2020 election is one for the history books, and for many reasons. One being that more absentee ballots were cast than any election in Georgia history. That's according to the Secretary of State's office. But just because you mailed it in or dropped it off doesn't mean it counted.
There's actually a process that election workers use to check the ballots and separate. Then there's a separate two-step process for voters if their ballot has been rejected. So Francesca Amaker is going to join us now with more on curing your ballot.
Curing your ballot. Yeah, you can see if your ballot was rejected on the Secretary of State's website. It's the My Voters page. And if it was rejected, you have about 3 days until well, you can actually claim your ballot. So let's get to it. Here's how it works. So under Georgia state laws, the County Board of Registrars has to immediately inform the voter if their ballot is rejected. And the National Conference of State Legislatures says the voter then must to submit their voter identification and an affidavit confirming that the ballot submitted was theirs in order to cure the ballot. Once it's cured, it can be counted for the election. And again, you have until 3 days after the election to cure your ballot. That's tomorrow, November 6th. And be sure to check your status on the My Voter page. Then follow these steps. We have them posted on 11alive.com. Chesley.
Thanks a lot, Francesca. We got double digits on the barometer today. In fact, an 11 Live day on tap for us. Clouds will increase late. In fact, partly cloudy skies for your Friday, Saturday the same, and then mostly cloudy skies as we head into Sunday and Monday with a 20% chance for an isolated shower. That chance for rain, low chance, continues next week.
Chesley, thank you. Our election coverage continues at 6 a.m.
In the meantime, you can find the latest updates on 11alive.com and inside our 11 Alive News app.
We are now entering a second full day of ballot counting. At last check, our last update, about 90,000 to go as we await the final results in several key races, including President of the United States. Good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm Sheba Russell.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. We are now more than 24 hours after the closing of the polls, and neither President Trump nor Joe Biden have collected enough Electoral College votes to win the White House. Let's take a look at the numbers from across the country right now. Joe Biden ahead with 50%, 72 million of the popular vote. Donald Trump with 48%, 68 million of the popular vote.
And here's how Georgians have voted so far in the race for president. Trump is leading by a fraction of a percentage point with only about 23,000 votes separating the two. And another race we're closely watching this morning is for the U.S. Senate. Right now, incumbent Senator David Perdue is holding on to the lead with 50%. 50.1%. Democrat John Ossoff trailing behind with 48%. The gap narrowing as more and more ballots are being counted in the metro areas favorable to Ossoff. This one could be headed for a runoff. We have team coverage this morning as we work to guide you through all the dizzying election developments.
And there's a lot to keep up with this morning, including a lawsuit that's been filed in our state by the Trump campaign and the Georgia Republican Party over absentee ballots. But let's kick you off with Joe Ripley, who is live for us this morning from State Farm Arena, where votes are being scanned. Joe?
That's right. About 7,000 of those absentee ballots left to count here as election workers work well into the morning here at State Farm Arena. Just to give you a look at what's happening behind us, this room has cleared out quite a bit since we first got here around 1, 2 o'clock this morning, but you can see some workers have been here. We've been told up to 12, 16, and by the time this work is done, some will have been here for over 24 hours. Fulton County Elections Director Richard Barron said the county received about 142,000 absentee ballots overall, compared to the 60,000 who voted on Election Day. This crew planning on staying here all morning long until every absentee ballot is processed and counted. They are processing, by the way, about 3,000 ballots an hour. That involves opening each envelope, inspecting those ballots, and then scanning those ballots onto a card. Those cards then sent to a warehouse where those ballots are actually counted. The elections director, Rick Barron, saying we could be nearing an end to that count coming up soon.
We will probably be here a few more hours. I would imagine that the sun's going to come up before we finish. And we are looking to make sure that every vote gets counted.
And we have noticed sort of some substitutions taking place here behind us. Some workers leaving who have been here a while, some coming back in. The pressure is on, though, to finish up that absentee ballot count because a lot of big races here in Georgia depend on it.
Such a critical job right now. Joe Ripley, thank you. So he mentioned that elections warehouse that is in Fulton County, northwest Atlanta. And that's where Jerry Carnes is watching everything unfold. That's where the votes are counted, Jerry. So right around 5 a.m., you mentioned that some fresh batches of ballots were coming in on those cards. Any update on when those vote tallies are going to be put into the system and updated so we can all see if anything has changed?
Yes, I can bring you up to date. That batch of ballots has been uploaded into a server and sent to the Secretary of State's office, but we are now in a break. Everyone has left and been told to come back at 10 o'clock. What we understand is that the ballots have been sort of dribbling in here, about 1,000 at a time. There are about 7,000 to go to process over at State Farm Arena. What's going to happen is they're going to finish with those 7,000, send them all over here, and then they will be examined, processed, and uploaded at that time at 10 o'clock this morning. So we're in a little bit of a break again until 10 o'clock this morning. Let me show you what has been going on here as you look at this video from earlier this morning. As the ballots arrive here on a disc, they are uploaded into a server, and then elections officials, along with representatives of both the Democratic and Republican Party, examine those that have issues. And by issues, I mean that perhaps someone marked through a vote and then voted again, or perhaps voted for two candidates in one race. You know, there were several candidates running in our Senate race here in the state of Georgia that includes Fulton County. So those sort of issues are examined by both parties along with Fulton County. They determine what to do with those, and then they upload them in the server and send them on to the Secretary of State's office. So again, about 7,000 remaining. They're continuing work over at the Secretary of State's office. When all of those 7,000 are here, folks will return, examine the ones that need to be examined, and then upload them to the Secretary of State.
All right, Jerry Carnes, thank you. The Trump campaign now taking legal action against at least 3 states still counting ballots, and that includes a county in Georgia.
The campaign has asked a judge to order the county to secure and account for ballots received after 7 p.m. on Election Day. Maura Sirianni continues our team coverage this morning from the state capitol with more details on this lawsuit. Maura?
Well, right now, the Trump campaign is going after 3 states, filing lawsuits right here in Georgia, over in Pennsylvania, and Michigan. So these are 3 states where this race is still incredibly tight right now, anyone's race at this point. And as you mentioned, it is over the suspicion that ballots were still being received here after 7 o'clock. It's over 53 ballots. And this is a campaign, the Trump campaign, I should say, in the Georgia GOP filed this lawsuit against Chatham County. So that is home to the Democratic-leaning city of Savannah, and they're asking for a judge there to order the county to secure an account for any of those absentee ballots received after the state's 7 p.m. Deadline on Election Day. Now, the lawsuit alleges that a Republican observer watched a poll worker there take 53 unprocessed absentee ballots from a back room and mix them into processed ballots waiting to be tabulated. We ran this by 11 Alive political analyst Paige Pate. He called the lawsuit a preemptive strike.
They want to call attention to the counties that are critical right now. That would be Chatham, that would be DeKalb, that would be Fulton, where there's still a significant number of ballots to be counted.
And Georgia's Secretary of State says that every legitimate vote will be counted. He's holding a press conference right here at the state capitol at 10:30 this morning. And again, we're expected to get an update on the state's numbers.
Mara, thank you. I'm Francesca Amaker. Count the vote. That's the message of several protests and rallies across the nation yesterday, including right here in Atlanta. A small group of Trump supporters gathered downtown outside State Farm Arena where ballots are being scanned. Organizers say they plan to be out there daily until all votes are counted. Now over in Arizona, dozens of people gathered at the Maricopa election office in downtown Phoenix. People were seen waving Trump 2020 flags and signs late into the evening. And at one point, some of the protesters attempted to get inside of the elections building. Local sheriff's deputies eventually formed a line out front to keep the crowd away from the doors. Officials say some vote center workers and members of the media were escorted away for safety. Now in the Northeast, dozens marched down the streets of Philadelphia, holding up a large banner that said "Count every vote," just hours after the city streets reopened. A crowd also marched in Pittsburgh, holding up signs and chanting that no one should undermine the electoral process. Hundreds of people marched through Midtown Manhattan, carrying signs and chanting "Every vote counts, count every vote." The march began with just a few dozen people near the New York City Public Library and continued to grow as they headed toward Washington Square Park. And let's head to Portland, Oregon. That's where demonstrators marched on the highway and through the streets of downtown. The message the same: count every vote.
All right, Francesca, thank you. Let's move now to Christy Diaz, joining us now from the newsroom with a closer look of that county by county breakdown of the numbers that we're seeing come in.
And actually, guys, I have some new information for you. I've been watching these numbers, and some of the votes that Jerry told us, that dump that they got, have been processed. Let's take a look at the numbers. This is what just came in, those numbers changing just moments ago. It looks like by our count, Fulton County just reported 8,468 more votes. About 6,400 of those went for Biden. About 1,900 of those went for President Trump. And then about 117 went to the other candidate in the race. But Biden leading by a much wider margin. That's why this race seems to continue to narrow here in Georgia. It is so close and looks like it is only getting closer. So we're still waiting for those numbers to update here, keeping an eye on that throughout the morning. But that's obviously one of the counties that we are keeping an eye on, because those people stayed throughout the night to continue counting those ballots, and at a rate of about 3,000 ballots per hour. They're hoping to be done in the next 2.5 to 3 hours. Couple other counties we're keeping an eye on. Obviously, DeKalb, they said they are done. Their unofficial count is in. Those will be certified by next Friday. Gwinnett County, it's going to take them a little longer. They said they could be processing and counting and tabulating all the way into the weekend, but the sentiment there has always been and still continues to be, we'd rather do it right than fast. So now let's look statewide. There are a few counties outside of the metro we're still keeping our eye on. Down here in Chatham County, which is Savannah, that's where President Trump just filed that lawsuit. We believe there's still some ballots there to be counted. Houston County, right here in middle Georgia, Trump is leading in this county. We believe there might be some votes there still to be counted. And then Dougherty County down here in the southwest region of Georgia. That one is leaning heavily Democratic. We think there may still be some votes there. So Georgia, guys, it's so close. And the more votes we get in, the closer it seems to be. So this will be an interesting day to watch.
I don't think I've used my calculator app as much as I have right now.
In the last 24 hours?
Than I
Me
have
too.
all year. Yeah. Christy, thank you. It is 6:10 right now. Our coverage of the 2020 election continues online at 11alive.com, and that's where you'll find real-time results. Now let's take a look at your weather and traffic.
All right, we're looking at just a few clouds rolling into the forecast area, but it won't be until later on this afternoon. We're going to start you off with mostly sunny skies today, but we'll have them coming in from the west and a little bit from the east as well. So we're watching that. Our clouds will increase over the next couple of days, as a matter of fact, but our rain chances will remain low. Temperature starting off on the cool side this morning. We're in the 40s for the most part. Got a couple 30s sprinkled in here, like 39 degrees in Peachtree City. We're looking at 34. That's the cool spot up in Blairsville. Your forecast for today calls for temperatures to hit 65 by noon under mostly sunny skies. A little easterly breeze, about 7 miles per hour. Near 70 will be the high temperature, nice and mild for us, with partly sunny skies as we head toward 3 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. Crash Clark, how's my ride?
Not bad at all, my friend. In fact, I can use some weather words there. It's nice and mild if you got to hit out on the roadways. Let's say good morning to the south side. We'll see what's happening on 75 up from McDonough, Stockbridge, all the way up. Even if you're splitting off on 675 heading up towards Ellenwood. You know who we shout out for Ellenwood all the time. The Ellenwood Amicers. 75 also wide open. Look at 85 from Noonan all the way to the airport. Here's an interesting stat here with the airport. Check this out. If you got a flight, okay, the domestic south and north wait checkpoints are closed. Main and international are not only less than 10 minutes, the main checkpoint wait time is 3 minutes. That right there, folks, is the world's busiest airport. Go get on a flight right now. You won't even have time to take out your wallet. Sheba?
All right, it is 6:12 right now. Ahead here on Morning Rush, the process to count all the votes in one metro Atlanta county could last into the weekend. More on the software glitch and why election officials are not sure just how many ballots are affected.
And Twitter flags President Trump's tweets after he posted about the continued ballot counts in several states, calling them surprise ballots. Our Verified team is digging into his claims.
It is 6:15 right now, taking a live look inside State Farm Arena, and election workers have been working all night. They are processing these ballots, scanning these ballots. At last check, there were about 7,600 left to process and scan out of 143,000 absentee ballots. After they are processed and scanned here, then they move on over to the election warehouse in Northwest Atlanta. And the workers there on break from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. so that they can process more at a time when those cards come to them, those election cards come to them later on this morning. The counting continues on this Thursday, Jennifer.
It certainly does, and that is happening around the clock, as we have been seeing at these various locations across the metro. Poll workers across the state putting in some endless hours here trying to get all of those votes finally tabulated.
Yeah, and in Gwinnett County, those ballots could take several days to be fully processed. Liza Lucas joining us now from outside the Gwinnett County Board of Election headquarters in Lawrenceville with the latest on what's going on there.
Oh, a lot going on here this morning. And, you know, we've been talking about a software glitch that impacted thousands of mail-in ballots. Well, we still don't have the exact number of those that were affected. On the low end, it could be 3,200. On the high end, it could be tens of thousands. But we do know that those ballots will get a further review. That process expected to start at headquarters this morning. And the process is known as adjudication. And for those not familiar, that's when a 3-member panel made up of representatives from both major parties, you have a Republican, you have a Democrat, plus an election official, review the ballot in question. And what they're trying to determine is the voter's intent. Officials tell us the process to fully review the ballots impacted by the software error could take 3 days. And on top of that, we're told 4,400 absentee ballots received on Election Day still need to be counted here in Gwinnett County, as well as votes that need to be rescanned from an advanced in-person voting site that had a corrupt data card. In addition, about 1,000 provisional ballots also still need to be going in the tally. So a lot to work through here in Gwinnett County. That work expected to continue this morning, but officials continue to reiterate that the majority of results they are in, even with the review of those ballots that are impacted by the software glitch. Again, that's going to start today and expected to take several days.
Liza, thank you. Switching gears to COVID-19, we have new numbers on the coronavirus pandemic this morning. NBC News is reporting the U.S. has broken the single-day record of infections. More than 100,000 new cases were reported yesterday. The previous record of 98,000 cases was set last week on Friday, October 30th. The triple-digit case number comes just one day after Election Day. This is the 6th time a new daily case record has been set since October 22nd. Now, the Johns Hopkins University COVID-19 dashboard is reporting that the U.S. leads the world in COVID-19 cases and deaths, with more than 250,000 people losing their lives to the virus. Chesley.
Thanks a lot, Francesca. 6:18 is the current time. Heading out the door right now. Grab your jacket or your sweater. You're going to need it. Temperatures are down into the 40s in a lot of spots. Also, some 30s sprinkled in there. Be careful. 65 degrees by noon. 70 for your afternoon high temperature under partly sunny skies by then. We'll see an increase in clouds once we get toward the afternoon. We'll stay partly cloudy once we head into the evening. By 7, we'll drop down to 61 degrees. Notice back off to the west, got a nice little wall of clouds marching their way over toward the east, so we'll see the clouds increase. Also here, moving in from the east, we do have some low-level moisture around. The wet weather, scattered showers will stay in the southern portions of the state for today. That high pressure that's been dominant over our area the last couple of days, starting to finally move to the east. We got a northeasterly flow coming in. Eventually that's going to turn more easterly, so you'll see some more of that low-level moisture making it into our area in the coming days. We're still tracking Ada down to a tropical depression right now. Barely see the center of circulation, but those winds at 30 miles per hour are moving very slowly off to the west-northwest, but eventually will curve back into the northern Caribbean Sea, where it could intensify to a tropical storm. We'll move over Cuba this weekend and then slide up toward southern end of Florida here, and then move back into the Gulf once again. Another storm moving into the Gulf. Does it have time to become a hurricane? Absolutely. Something that we have to watch because it could play a role in our forecast as we head into early next week. So we'll continue to update you as we go along and watch it to come near us next week. All right, so here's our forecast track model. You can follow along with the time right there at the top of the screen. It shows starting off with mostly sunny skies, a few clouds during the afternoon. Won't take away too much from our sun today. Starting off with partly sunny skies for your Friday. We'll stay that way through the afternoon as well. And then even more clouds moving in for Saturday. We'll call it a mix of sun and clouds through the day, but we remain dry. Most of the wet weather stays down to the central and southern portions of the state. We'll introduce you to a 20% chance. Very low chance for the rain on Sunday. We'll hold on to that for Monday as well with mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures continue to rise though. 73 degrees will be the high on Monday. By Tuesday, looking at a 30% chance for the rain, mainly during the afternoon. 75 will be our afternoon high temperature, and 74 on Wednesday with a 40% chance for scattered showers. Crash Clark, over to you.
All right, it has been a very quiet rush hour, and I'm going to give you a little bit of good news for those of you that travel out early. In fact, I passed by this, kind of got stuck in it too. That's the Glen Ridge Connector ramp there just off of Georgia 400. They've just reopened that. GDOT was out there doing a whole lot of work this morning, so a little bit of good news for folks that travel Georgia 400. Found a couple of stalls. That's about it. 85 northbound, one at Pleasantdale sitting off to the right. Another one 85 north near Steve Reynolds Boulevard, also off to the right. Against the flow of traffic, not bothering anybody. Look at the inbound flow of traffic. That's 75, 400, and I-85, affectionately called the Big Three from the northern burbs. It is very quiet out there, folks, at 621. Sheba?
Election cliffhanger. While Joe Biden is projecting confidence, President Trump is projecting lawsuits. We'll have the latest from Washington, D.C. President Trump tweeting a lot while states continue to count ballots, expressing concern about the entire process. Twitter even flagging a few of his tweets, labeling them misleading. We asked Jason Puckett with our Verify team to get to the bottom of it.
Wednesday morning, the president sent out this tweet saying last night he was leading in many key states. Then the leads, quote, started to magically disappear as surprise ballot dumps were counted. Here's the president in the early morning hours on Wednesday.
We're winning Michigan, but I'll tell you, I looked at the numbers. I said, whoa. I said, wow, that's a lot. By almost 300,000 votes, and 65% of the vote is in. and we're winning Wisconsin.
Now, since that speech, Wisconsin and Michigan have both counted more votes. The president says these changes are due to surprise ballots, which are, quote, very strange. But there's nothing surprising or strange going on right now. We even verified this yesterday, before the polls closed. Wisconsin and Michigan are both states where ballot counting didn't start until Election Day. That means the record-breaking number of mail-in absentee ballots couldn't be counted before Tuesday. The states knew this was going to take time. Here's the Michigan Secretary of State earlier this week.
We are on track to see double the number of absentee ballots, just over 3 million, submitted before 8 p.m. tomorrow. Based on basic math, we should expect it would take no more than 80 hours to count those ballots, which would take us through Friday.
And Wisconsin published a series of videos in October explaining that
accurate election results take time. The numbers you hear on election night aren't actually official.
Bottom line, the claim that these numbers magically changed due to surprising ballots is false. At this point, there's no evidence these are anything other than legitimately cast ballots being counted like normal. Folks, if you see other election claims out there you want us to check out, send us an email.
Taking a live look now at State Farm Arena, where ballots from Fulton County are being scanned before heading to the warehouse where they are counted. We understand in the last hour they are on break until 10 a.m., but we will be checking in with all of our crews across the metro to get you the latest results from across Georgia.
And we're looking at temperatures continuously warming up as we head toward the weekend. We'll hit 70 today, getting up to 73 degrees by Monday.
Not a whole lot happening in the world of traffic, folks. Great shot here. Starting to see a little bit of a sunrise as we look at the Midtown Sky Tracker showing your connector north and southbound. Just kind of zipping along. I'll detail that drive, though, when we come right back.
Our nation on edge, waiting to find out who will be the next president. Ballots are still being counted in key battleground states, even at 6:30 in the morning here. And Georgia is one of them. At last check, about 80,000 still to go. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sheba Russell.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. We are now entering day 2, the second full day of election ballot counting. Results shifting moment to moment. We have got new information throughout the morning, and we could see some more solid numbers as the day goes on for Georgia. Let's take a look now at the numbers across the country. We see former Vice President Joe Biden leading with the popular vote ahead of President Donald Trump. But again, neither has enough votes to secure an Electoral College vote.
Of course, those numbers will change as 6 states remain uncalled. That's Arizona, Alaska, Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. This is a live look at the counting process inside State Farm Arena. You can see Fulton County workers quietly but quickly getting those ballots tallied. They're processing about 3,000 per hour. And now a live look inside Fulton County's election warehouse. It looks really quiet there. You don't see a worker in sight. That's because right around 6 a.m., those workers took a break until 10 a.m. This is where the votes are counted and then put into the server and sent over to the Secretary of State's office. All of the vote counting causing the nation to take to the streets, rallies popping up all over the country, demonstrators in Philadelphia and other major cities demanding every legal vote be counted. Tracy Potts joining us now from Wilmington, Delaware with more on this tight presidential race.
Sheba, we're seeing demonstrations. We are also seeing legal challenges by the Trump team here in Wilmington. Joe Biden's campaign says they are ready to meet all of those legal challenges.
Protecting the vote. Near Phoenix, dozens of Trump supporters gather at the elections building, some trying to get inside. Security had to escort workers away. A similar scene in Detroit, where self-proclaimed election challengers tried to storm the room where votes are being counted.
No candidate, no campaign, no political party is going to stop us from counting every vote in Michigan.
Joe Biden is projected to win Michigan. President Trump is suing there and in Georgia and Pennsylvania to stop the count or let his observers in.
They're trying to cheat us out of it because they know it's their only path to victory.
Not a single Republican has been able to look at any one of these mail ballots. They could be from Mars as far as we're concerned.
Pennsylvania officials say it could be days before they're done.
Every vote is going to count. I'm going to fight like hell to protect the vote of every Pennsylvanian.
Biden is now within striking distance of the 270 electoral votes needed to win this election.
I'm not here to declare that we've won, but I am here to report that when the count is finished, we believe we will be the winners.
Around the country, count the vote rallies. 157 million people have voted this year, the highest rate in a century, with votes still being counted and the election still in limbo.
And how long this is going to take kind of depends on where you are. You were talking about them counting all night in Georgia. Same thing in Pennsylvania. They're saying it's going to take a few days to wrap things up there. Michigan was hoping to wrap up their count overnight. Wisconsin said they were actually just checking the numbers at this point.
And we will have more information on those presidential lawsuits that have been filed in our state as well as others in about 5 minutes. But first, let's take a look at how Georgians have voted so far in the presidential race. Donald Trump still with 50%, the president there, and the vice president, former vice president Joe Biden with about 49%. We are learning that there are new numbers coming in as Fulton County continues to tabulate about 8,400 new votes that have been tabulated in Fulton County. So we will continue to track those numbers and update you as we get them in. Meanwhile, we have team coverage for you this morning to help us break down all of these new developments, and there is a lot to keep up with. Information, again, changing and shifting throughout the morning as counties continue working on those vote counts. So let's go out now to Joe Ripley, who is at State Farm Arena. Fulton County votes being scanned and processed there ahead of their being counted in a separate location, Joe.
Yeah, that's right. Election workers have been here all night long throughout the morning hours trying to process, scan these absentee ballots, and thousands of them. Although right now we are told there are just a few thousand more to go. Let me step out of the way so you all can see the work that's being done here. That has been done, as I said, for hours. Some of these workers have been here for over 12, 16 hours already. So they are just processing these absentee ballots, not counting them. That's going to happen at a warehouse. And there are new developments we are learning over there. We'll get to that in a bit. But we spoke with Rick Barron, the elections director here. He says he is optimistic that these ballots will be processed at least by 10 o'clock this morning. Of course, a lot of big races depending on this ballot count. We will keep you posted on air on the 11 Alive News app as those develop.
Joe, thank you. And let's take you to the Fulton County election warehouse in northwest Atlanta now, where those ballots are counted. Jerry Carnes, workers going on a break right about a half hour ago.
That's right, Sheba. They processed about 1,000 ballots that had just come over from State Farm Arena at about 6 o'clock, and then they were told head on home and come back at 10 o'clock to continue the work. What's the strategy is here is that they've been processing about 1,000 ballots at a time and uploading them to the Secretary of State's office. What they're going to do now is wait for those final 7,000 ballots to arrive here from State Farm, and then at 10 o'clock do it all at once. If you go to some video that we shot earlier this morning, you can see part of the process. They have to examine some of those ballots before uploading them to the Secretary of State. A computer may alert them to an issue with a particular ballot, maybe some mark on there that makes it unclear who a voter is choosing, and so they have to determine how to treat that ballot. And it is both representatives of Fulton County and the Republican and Democratic Party involved in that process. Once they agree, then they upload that ballot to the Secretary of State. Of course, that is not common. Only a few of the ballots that they get with each shipment here has an issue, so don't know how many of those will be an issue once those 7,000 arrive here and they begin work again at 10 o'clock this morning. We have been telling you work will wrap up here this morning. It will not obviously be until after 10 a.m., but we will be here to let you know what happens.
All right, Jerry, thank you. Gwinnett County also still working to tally its Election Day results. Votes there still need to be counted and fully adjudicated, and that's where we find our Liza Lucas this morning with the latest on the count. And Liza, you're in, it could take days, maybe into the weekend, before a final count is complete there.
That is what we are being told by officials. It's quiet here now, but they are gearing up for a busy next few days. We're told that the processing of ballots could continue until Saturday, possibly even Sunday. That work starts again at 9 a.m. this morning and is really going to focus on the mail-in absentee ballots that have been an issue due to a computer glitch we've been talking about throughout the course of the week. The software problem interfered with the way thousands of mailed absentee ballots are scanned in batches. Now, the ballots in question, they're going to have to be reviewed. You mentioned that adjudication process, and that process could take 3 days, and it involves a representative of each major political party plus an election official working together to determine the voter's intent. Now, on top of that, Gwinnett has approximately 4,400 absentee ballots from Election Day that still need to be counted. There are about 1,000 provisional ballots that also need to be factored in. So the work here is definitely not done. And we want to be clear that when it comes to those absentee ballots that were affected by that computer glitch, they had actually already gone through the official review process even before Election Day. And then officials then on Tuesday decided to push those votes through, knowing that results could change as those flagged ballots are reviewed again this morning. Again, that process will kick off at 9 a.m. here at headquarters.
Liza, thank you for the update there out of Gwinnett County, the state's second populous county. As the race for the White House tightens, the Trump campaign is now taking legal action in our state and 2 others over the ballot counting.
The campaign says some absentee ballots in Georgia were received after an Election Day deadline. Mara Siriani continues our team coverage now from the state capitol with more on why this lawsuit was filed in the first place and what we're seeing here.
Well, as the margin narrows, the Trump campaign is going after 3 states. Georgia is one of them. Pennsylvania and Michigan are the 2 others. And these races in all of these states are incredibly tight at this point. And so the lawsuit here in Georgia is over 53 absentee ballots. And I want to break this down and take a closer look at it for you. So the Trump campaign and the Georgia GOP filing that lawsuit against Chatham County, home to the Democratic leading city of Savannah. They're asking a judge to order the county to secure an account for absentee ballots received after, as you guys mentioned, the state's deadline, which was 7 o'clock on election night. The lawsuit alleges that a Republican observer watched a poll worker there take 53 unprocessed absentee ballots from a back room and mix them into processed absentee ballots waiting to be tabulated. Now, Georgia's Secretary of State has made it very clear that every legitimate vote will count, and he will be holding a press conference. We've seen them every day this week at 10:30 this morning. And so, of course, we will be there and we will be carrying that live. We'll bring you the very latest.
Mara, thank you. It is 6:40 right now, and you'll find more of our coverage of the 2020 election online at 11alive.com. You'll also find real-time results there. Now let's take a look at our weather and traffic. Looking like a fine day today, Chesley.
It will be a fine day, Sheba Russell. We're starting off with plenty of sunshine. We will start off with plenty of sunshine once it begins to rise in the sky, but we'll notice some clouds rolling in a little bit later. We have some off to the west, a little bit of moisture coming in off the east as well, so we're surrounded by it, and it will eventually take us over. Slowly. Temperatures in the 40s starting off this morning. Got some 30s sprinkled in, like Peachtree City at 39, 33 close to the freezing mark right there in Blairsville, 46 in Duluth, 43 in Athens, 42 in Marietta. Cool start. You need the jacket or a sweater to start off this morning. And this afternoon, you may take that off. 65 degrees by noon, going up to near 70 for an afternoon high temperature today. Enjoy. Change is coming. We'll talk more about that later. Crash Clark, over to you.
All right, my friend. Change coming to the rush hour, too, usually in that 6 o'clock hour, and that's not the way we like to have it happen. That's a spin out right here. This car looks like it struck that median wall. We're looking at I-20 westbound. This is going to be westbound, outbound folks leaving the city just past MLK before you get to H.E. Homes. But obviously with 2 left lanes blocked, things are going to get a little bit crowded for folks trying to make their way out of the city towards I-285. I'm going to back that map up a little bit. All right, a little bit of volume on the West Expressway right around Fulton Industrial Boulevard. Pretty typical stuff right there. I'll make sure there's nothing else in the way, but that's just inbound volume at 642. And we'll give you one more look at it. Well, there's your downtown drive. How about that? Good news for you. 8 minutes if you're rolling off to the airport from Brookwood to the South Side Split. That's not bad at all, but got to get a wrecker and get this thing out of the way. 20 westbound past MLK. Sheba?
6:42 right now. Ahead here on Morning Rush on this Thursday, our political analyst, Dr. Andrew Gillespie, will join us live to talk about the key races in our state and the possibility of a Georgia recount in the race for president. That's coming up in about 3 minutes.
Curing an absentee ballot. We explain what that means and how it works.
Welcome back to Morning Rush with meteorologist Chesley McNeil, Francesca Amaker, Crash Clark, and Sheba Russell.
We continue to follow breaking news right now. Georgia on the minds of the nation as the country waits along with us for our vote count in the race for the White House. The election still too close to call right now. Our 11 Alive political analyst, Emory political science professor, Dr. Andra Gillespie, keeping a close eye on those numbers with us as well as they come in, joining us live this morning. Dr. Gillespie, when people said Georgia would be a battleground state, I don't think most people imagined that we'd be one of the few states left in this counting process. So what can you say about where we stand right now and where we still have to go in this election process?
Well, there were some updates overnight. I can't quite tell how many votes are left to be counted, but we have seen President Trump's lead in Georgia narrow even above last night. What we know based on the numbers that were reported last night was that there were enough outstanding ballots that Joe Biden, if he took the lion's share of them, could actually end up in the lead and end up beating Donald Trump. So we just have to wait to see what the final update and what the final count looks like. Regardless of who wins this race, this is going to be a nail biter.
Andra, we saw about 90,000 outstanding ballots right around 11 p.m. It could be about 80,000 right now. So there are still a lot out there. As we're closely watching the race for president here and also the U.S. Senate race between Jon Ossoff and incumbent David Perdue, what do you think the chances of a recount in Georgia with the president's race and a runoff with the U.S. Senate race?
I would rely on Page Pate for the legal questions, but my understanding is that given the narrow margin, if this holds, President Trump would actually be in a position to be able to request a recount. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. He'd be within his legal right to do so. And given the fact that he's already filed a legal case here in Georgia, I would expect that he's going to use every tool at his disposal to scrutinize and contest the election. In terms of the runoff in Senate race number 1, we have seen Senator Perdue's vote share shrink. And so last time I checked, he was still just above 50%. But if the vast majority of the remaining ballots break for Jon Ossoff, that does have the potential to drag him below 50%, thus forcing a runoff election. So we just have to see what the vote looks like on those remaining ballots.
All right, Dr. Andra Gillespie of Emory University, thank you so much. We always appreciate your insight and time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's take another look at the numbers here in Georgia for the presidential race. Well, this is actually that U.S. Senate race we were just talking about. Incumbent Republican David Perdue, again, with 50%. Jon Ossoff, the Democratic challenger, at 48%. But again, those numbers shrinking. Here's a look at Georgia's results for the presidential race. Again, President Donald Trump is ahead, but we are seeing that lead shrink as the numbers continue to come in. About 18,540 votes of a difference right now, at least according to the latest numbers that we have received from the Secretary of State's office. And we also understand the Secretary of State is going to give an update coming at 10:30. We'll bring you all of that information, but let's get you over now to Chesley for a check of your forecast.
All right, thanks a lot. 6:48 is current time. Get ready to head out the door. The sun is starting to rise on us a little bit there. Starting to lighten up a little bit. You notice no clouds out there. We're going to start off with mostly sunny skies for today, but more clouds will start to move in a little bit later on this afternoon. Your 4 Central Times today shows us starting off on the cool side, if you will. Right around 47 degrees. We'll get up to 65 by noon under mostly sunny skies. Partly sunny by 3. Temperatures right near 70. We'll drop down to 61 degrees by 7 o'clock tonight, and we'll hold on to the partly cloudy skies. Notice the clouds back off to the west of us. Nice little deck of clouds, but no rain associated with any of those clouds. They'll continue to push in also from the east as well as this high pressure continues to slide over toward the east. We're getting more into an easterly flow. It's going to boost our temperatures up a bit, or help to boost the temperatures up a bit, but also will increase the low level moisture over us, which means more in the way of clouds as we head toward the weekend. We're also tracking Ada, what's left over right now, tropical depression. Those winds up to about 30 miles per hour and moving very slowly to the west-northwest at about 8 miles per hour, but will continue to push up and then move out over the northern Caribbean, where it could strengthen back to a tropical storm, move over Cuba, and then head towards South Florida, but heading in a direction back toward the Gulf, somewhere we really don't want it to head. Too many storms out there. Could it become a Category 1 hurricane? Possibly. We'll continue to track it, especially as it's over land right now. We'll see once it moves back over to sea. Once it intensifies a bit, we'll start updating you a little bit more on that storm. Here it is, our forecast track model. You can follow along with the time right there at the top of the screen. It shows it starting off clear. We'll hold on to it at least through early afternoon, and then a few more clouds will move into the forecast area. Notice down in the southern portions of the state where you see the rain, that's where it's going to stay. We're not worried about the rain here, at least not for our Friday. We'll see partly sunny skies. By the time we get to Saturday, you'll notice a few more clouds moving in. We'll call it a mix of sun and clouds, but we remain dry. We'll have a slight chance for rain once we head into Sunday. So Saturday, looking at 72 degrees, partly sunny skies or a mix of sun and clouds. 20% chance for the rain on Sunday. It's a very low chance. We'll hold on to that for Monday as well, and then the chance for rain increases a bit as we head toward Tuesday and Wednesday. Crash Clark, over to you.
All right, my friend, unfortunately going to hit you with a red alert. This was that single car spin out I was telling you about on I-20 westbound past MLK. Looks like there may be some injuries. We got EMS on the scene now. Hero truck is going to get out there and hopefully hook up that car and pull it out of the way. But in the meantime, we're looking at all lanes completely shut down on that West Expressway. So folks, if you leave downtown, you drive out west towards I-285, may want to consider just taking MLK. You could actually use that as your alternate. That'll take you right back to H.E. Holmes and the West Expressway. But right now, not bad on the East and West Expressway outside the perimeter. This is all happening inside the perimeter. All lanes temporarily shut down. I-20 westbound past MLK. Sheba?
At 6:51, the ballots are still being counted. Right now, Georgia's 16 Electoral College votes on the line in the race for president.
Christy Diaz joining us now with a look at the numbers that we have been tracking and analyzing and breaking down for you all morning long.
So I'm going to give you a little perspective here. You can see that Trump and Biden are, it looks here like they're within a point, but it's actually much closer than this. The percentages, it's rounding Trump up and it's rounding Biden down. Realistically, it's 49.62% for Trump and 49.15% here. So fraction of a percentage point. And this is why Georgia matters so much. Let's take a look nationally. See these states? Okay, so this information is updated automatically by the AP, and they have already called Arizona. NBC, however, has not, so we're going with NBC. But these purple states right here, North Carolina, Georgia, and Nevada, still haven't been called. Neither has Pennsylvania. That also doesn't have an asterisk. That kind of shows you here. So if we go with this, not counting Arizona, and we look at the Electoral College votes that Biden has, right now he has let's see, get my pen. He has 253. Whereas President Trump has 214. Now, here's what happens if Biden wins Georgia. You add 16 to that, all of a sudden, he is at 269. That puts him right underneath the 270 Electoral College votes needed to win the presidency. If Trump wins those 16 votes, he is now at 230 Electoral College votes, much closer pathway toward the presidency. That's why Georgia matters so much. We'll keep watching as all the votes come in throughout the day.
All right, Christy, thank you. And we just got this update here from the Secretary of State's office as we take a live look at election workers processing and scanning those ballots at State Farm Arena. Between 4,000 and 4,500 absentee ballots still need to be counted. Again, this is, if the producers could just get in my ear for a moment, is this the update from Fulton County's or from the Secretary of State? All right, this is Fulton County's Director of Elections because these ballots are being counted statewide, folks, all right? So 4,000 to 4,500 absentee ballots still need to be counted in Fulton County, and they are hoping to get more staffing in place to replace those who've been there since yesterday. Some of these folks have been working more than 12 hours. Technical crews are needed to calibrate the machines that open up the envelopes. About 10,000 absentee ballots still need to be adjudicated, and that will happen at 10 a.m. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Morning Rush. Some good news with our traffic red alert out on the West Expressway. Hero truck just dragged our spin out off to the right. They're still temporarily blocking the right lane, I-20 westbound past MLK, but things are starting to move again.
Our election coverage continues throughout the morning on this Thursday. One big thing to look out for here happening at 10:30, and we will take it live. The Secretary of State's news conference updating all of you on the vote count.
Until then, you can find the latest updates on 11alive.com and inside our 11 Alive News app. Have a great day. This is a live look that we're leaving you with.